Hey everybody, hello Beastars. Welcome to another episode of my podcast. And every episode is so exciting at the moment. And I get to speak to another amazing human today. And I can already feel again that there's some golden nuggets will be thrown your way, guys. So stay tuned. And today I am joined by the lovely Louise. Hello, Louise. How are you going?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. Happy to be here.
So happy to have you. Now, before we go into all things music, etc., I just want to give a little bit of a background who you are and what you do, so people can get a bit of an idea, um, where you come from and everything else. You are an award-winning wellness expert. You're also a physiologist, a performance coach, as well as a best-selling author and a competitive runner. Oh my God, tick, tick, tick. Which is amazing and very impressive. You've worked for the NFL, so that's over in the States, obviously, for those not in America, just so you know. You have published research and have over 20 years of experience designing holistic wellness solutions for individuals as well as companies. And that's across the board in the US. I think that's right, haven't I? I got that right, have I?
Absolutely, yes. And that I'm a military spouse, so my husband moves. We have to relocate frequently because he's
Mm-hmm.
with the U.S. Army. So I have worked in, like I said, in research. I have been working with pro athlete teams, and now I specialize in busy everyday runners, working parents, those who still want to stay fit and healthy. But I've worked with individuals across the wellness spectrum. So those who are in extremely poor health, designing wellness interventions for the chronically ill,
Mm-hmm.
and all the way through to professional athletes. So you get a blend of, we're going to plug in strategies from all over health and fitness to help you achieve your goals.
Wow, I bet you have experienced some really interesting clients and moments and journeys along the wellness of others. So that in itself is super interesting. But obviously, what might pique my interest was how you use music in all of that, and that's what we're going to cover a little bit today, because I think there's probably some really good areas and tips that anyone at any stage of their wellness and fitness journey can use. So I think we should dive right in. Let's not hold back here. Let's go.
Yeah, sounds great.
Cool. So first question for you is we all know people go to the gym, they've got their headphones in, and go on the running machine or whatever else they do in the gym or lifting weights. So music obviously plays an integral part in getting them pumped up. But I'm always wondering, is that something they do consciously? So talking with you, I'm wondering health, well-being, and music. What does that mean to you, and how has that what have you noticed along your journey of working in that field around that?
Yeah. Well, there's a couple different ways that I use it, both for like well-being with
Mm-hmm.
myself and my family. When my kids were toddlers and they had those meltdowns,
Mm-hmm.
just simply, understanding the physiology of the body, where we activate a brain center that's called a reptilian brain. And it's a state when we are in a state of stress. And for kids, when we're having these tantrums, that we can't be reasonable. We can't use logic because we're so intensely in this
Mm.
tantrum or this state of stress. So a quick way to shift the physiology of our body and almost like hack it is to take a deep breath and to do something to think of that makes you happy. So when my kids used to have tantrums, I would have them take their deep breath. Like that, if there was one thing I could get them to do, it would just be take a deep breath. And then we'd put on a song, and it was, I would just ask, what makes you happy? And we'd like dance around. So we might want them to clean up their toys, but sometimes we have to actually shift them out of their state of chaos or they're in like a physiological state that we can't actually get them to calm down.
Mm-hmm. And so do you think that, obviously for children that makes complete sense, now you're explaining it that way, they probably don't know how to get out of that, like you say, so if you can give them a helping hand, excellent. How does that then go into adulthood? How can we, I'm not saying like, obviously stress plays a huge part, but like if we want to use the whole music piece a little bit more around our fitness areas, how can we do that best? A bit more consciously, maybe that's sort of what I'm
well, even,
after.
throughout our day, if we are in a state of stress, it's a state where our body is going to do things like fight against us. We can't achieve our health and fitness goals if we are chronically stressed or experiencing these intense moments of stress throughout our day. So we can be intentional and turn on music that reminds us of, energy, joy, find a song that means something to you. So throughout your day, you can intentionally use music to shift yourself out of that state of stress. But something that I like to do with those that I work with is having them find a song that really means something to them and song that really gets them energized. Because I work with a lot of runners and those who are doing some competitions, whether it's just a 5K with family, on Thanksgiving, and they want to run their best, they want to feel their best, or they want to go to the gym and just have a really great weightlifting session, or just feel energized at the end of a work day. And a way that you do it, that is having, I call them go-to songs. So it's not just a song. It's not just putting on music. It's having something that's intentional. It can help you dig a little bit deeper and really does mean something to you. An example I use is from my own life. I got diagnosed with a couple different chronic health conditions. And so I had certain songs that when I was trying to, on days when I just didn't feel well, I was telling myself, I am sick. I am not fit. How am I so sick in my 30s? When I felt those emotions, I didn't want to work out. I felt discouraged. And I had a couple songs that I would just play in my headphones. And I was like, no, I got this. I can do this. I'm fit, healthy, focused, strong. I can keep going. So it was a way that I rooted when it got hard. I knew what to do.
Yeah, that's a really good tip.
So when it gets hard, listeners, what song will you put on to help yourself get energized, dig deep, and get through?
Great question. One to write down, everybody, and have a really good think about it. Which, brings me sort of to the next point that I'd love to, or you already covered a lot of it. And that obviously doesn't just go for our fitness or our well-being, but generally in life, because I know you've had really tough phases in your life. I don't know if you want to go into that a little bit more in a minute, but how can we, like you touched on it before, mindset is a huge thing. And oftentimes, and I know that personally, when you feel overwhelmed, you just go into this state where nothing sticks, probably like a kid in a chocolate aisle, kind of have a tantrum. How can you, you've already given us examples of have like one or two songs that you can use as a mindset thing, but is there anything else that could help us, make us maybe a bit stronger or think us differently, especially when it comes to feeling healthier or fitness or something along those lines?
Yeah, I think that any goal that you set, recognizing that a part of that journey is that there is going to be hard times. Up front, recognizing like, okay, I have this goal to lose a certain amount of weight. I have a goal to, feel fit and healthy at the gym. I have a goal to run a certain time, but it's going to get hard. And when we admit that up front, it helps us to get through those times instead of those times derailing our progress, making us feel discouraged. Maybe for some who have trouble sticking with their goals, they might completely fall off track. We call it like falling off the wagon here, right? So that happens. So thinking ahead to those times and having a couple go-to strategies that you can use. So in that instance, if you wanted to use music, you would have the song ready to go. You're like, oh, I just recognize I'm feeling down, I'm feeling unmotivated today, and you play the song. Or you go to the gym and you say, okay, well, I don't feel like working out today, but I'm going to put on my song and I'm going to do 5 minutes. And you know what happens? After 5 minutes, you usually finish your workout. And if your body's just not having it, then maybe it's a day you do take extra rest. But pairing that with a go-to phrase. And I actually wrote my book, The Art of Breaking Through, helping individuals find their go-to phrases, because it's a little bit more of a mantra. It's recognizing that it's going to get hard in this journey of this goal that you want to accomplish, and having this phrase ready to go, something that really means something to you. So how do you find the phrase that you know that you can dig deep? So I have a whole process 5 simple steps that I walk through in the book. But, for example, I think of other times in life, the things that I've already been through. And what did I say to myself then when it got hard? Does that same phrase apply here? Can it apply here? Can I be ready with it to go to get through the times when I'm stressed, unmotivated? I feel like I'm failing, it's not easy. Or maybe fit and healthy.
I guess in a way that's where song lyrics can probably be a really good help too, as your go-to sentence, because that's why we resonate with a song very often.
Yes, there is a song I think I mentioned on one of your questionnaires that it's called Warrior, and it's like, every scar on my skin is a reminder of a moment when I walked through fire and didn't give in. And I would play that when I was trying to get back into running, get back into racing again, because I didn't feel fit, strong, and healthy. I felt sick, and mentally, knowing I had these diagnoses, I was like, I was knocked off my high horse as a fitness professional. I'm like, how did I, super health nut Louise, get bone disease and a precancer? And so that was a way that I just put it in the headphones and I said, no, like I will not fall. I will get stronger. So I just, even though it's part of my profession to help people dig deep, to help them get through these hard times, when you have to do it for yourself, it's not easy. It's very humbling.
Well, I can only partially imagine, because I'm very lucky. I'm blessed with generally a pretty good health at this stage. So I'm pretty lucky, I suppose. But yeah, even I guess for people like me who've not really gone through anything super dramatic in their life, you can have moments where you go, but then having that song and that sentence, can really make or break you some days, I guess. So,
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
And I think also too, in different stages of life, you might find different genres apply. Like some days I think I'm just kind of like lighthearted and I'll play music from the 90s. And other times, if I'm like weightlifting, I might play heavy metal. And I'm surprised at what it does, I'm like, oh, I feel strong. I feel like a real athlete here in the gym.
Real badass.
Exactly.
Now, you got me curious now. I'd love to know what kind of heavy metal you're listening to when you're lifting weights. That would be really good to know.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's this, like, I just remember there's a song by Rammstein, I think is how you say it, and it's Du Hast, and it's just like,
oh my God.
It's I just remember it on MTV, when I was like Total Request Live when I was younger, and my background, my grandma was, straight from Germany. So like, oh, I'm a German girl, digging deep. So yeah. And like Metallica, classic 90s type.
This is so funny. When you said Rammstein, I'm like, I thought of them first. I hope you say that. And you did.
Oh, that's so funny.
That is so funny. Because that song, is one of, if you're into heavy metal, definitely check it out. It can be a bit controversial, but if you're just after the actual music of it,
The beats,
The beats
yes.
of, oh, they're phenomenal. They're really, really good. If you just need something to really get you going, Rammstein is definitely a good one to go to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I guess a lot of times in the human performance, it's like beats over 140 beats per minute, are shown to increase performance. So finding a song that's that or above.
Yeah. And Metallica's never bad either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I can tell the 90s seem to be sort of the time of music that you particularly are fond of. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
So everything from pop to rock to heavy metal, there's always a place for it for you, is there?
Yeah. And I actually grew up around music because my dad was in a 50s and a 60s band.
Oh,
So
cool.
I would spend my Friday nights in the 90s actually at sock hops and car shows. And all these individuals who were there listening to my dad play and sing his favorite songs in this band. So it was a really fun way to grow up, just dancing to the 50s and 60s. So I truly do love that music as well. And there's still days when I'm, just living away far from family, that I miss my family. I'll put on the songs and clean the house, and the kids will dance
Mm.
around. So, they know some of those songs too.
Oh, that's a lovely way to connect with your family, even if they're not right there.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
nice. Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember going to like classic car shows over here in Melbourne, and they always have a band playing, and it's always such a great atmosphere. Just a vibe they're getting off from them being on stage and just singing, and you have that as your background music while you look at all these old cars, and it just really gives you this happy kind of vibe. So if
Yeah.
that's similar to what your dad did, then that would have been awesome as a kid growing up.
Yeah. Yeah. I have like little videos of my son taking him to car shows with my dad. And he was sitting
Oh.
there. I think it was like the twist, and he was like doing this with his arm, and he's just twisting. And it was just so fun. He was really getting into it. Like, oh, he's like 2. It was so cute.
Oh my God, that's so sweet. Oh dear. Okay, the other thing I'd love to get your input on or your thoughts on is energy management and music. I guess with athletes and anyone that wants to be better at fitness and well-being, or is training for something or has a certain goal in mind, our energies are not always the same every day. So have you any strategies or tips around that? Um, how to maybe integrate sound or music or anything like that can help lift your energy, perhaps?
Yeah, there is like bioacoustic music, I believe is what it's called. So there's different types of, I think there's like YouTube videos on them, but the
Mm.
type of, it's scientifically designed to help you restore your energy. So I actually am a massage therapist who sees clients, and I will use these bionic beats and this neuroacoustic music in my massages.
Mm.
So I'm trying to get muscles to relax and for clients to restore their energy, to leave feeling like they can own the day, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So when I pair the massage therapy with that music, a lot of times the success in releasing their tight muscles and restoring their energy is much greater.
Mm.
It's amplified. So that's a way that I actually help people recover, restore energy using a very specific type of scientifically designed music.
Yeah, that's really fascinating because I think when you go on YouTube, they're called binaural beats or something like that. And there's
Yeah.
heaps of them. I know because I've been Googling it or
Yeah.
searching on it. And it's amazing. And obviously, I don't know how scientifically proven those type of clips are. Um, but I've heard good things about them. I mean, I've tried them on myself and it seems to have a certain, impact on me. So I can only imagine if you really use those that have been researched, that have been proven to work. That's
Yeah.
amazing. I mean, you know.
The one company that I go with is called Newcom. So it's a way that it's it's just a company that I've researched, and I know it's like scientifically supported.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like 3 different tracks. Like one's for like a power nap, the other is for like deep recovery, and the other is for restoring energy. So I personally use them myself, and total insider here, but I was having the worst trouble sleeping last night. And I, instead of trying to go back to sleep, because my body just was, sometimes I just wake up at like 1 and my body wants to go. And it's like this epic battle. So I actually put on Newcom for myself and just listened to it on repeat. So I did, get into a dream state. It does help theta brain waves, which are some of your deepest sleep phases. So I was dreaming, and I listened to it for about 2 hours instead of truly falling back into a traditional sleep. But it was a way that I knew, it's a go-to strategy that I have in my back pocket just to help me get through these moments when I wake up and just can't go back to sleep.
I find that so interesting that there's certain vibrations or frequencies that can kind of bypass certain bits of our brain and then help us with so many things. Like you say, muscle tension release, helping relax and get into like a dreamlike state. I mean, that's just, I find that super amazing that that's actually out there, and you don't have to go to like chemical sleeping tablets to be able to sleep through the night and still feel refreshed. Things like
Absolutely.
that.
Absolutely. And I don't even nap anymore. I just new calm because they have that power nap, because it is a way that I'm working with the biochemistry of my body, my physiology. As a physiologist, it's like it is a way to get the biggest bang for your buck. And I don't promote a lot of technology. I actually try to help individuals improve their health without expensive technology or supplement solutions. But there are a couple good, like scientifically validated, and I call them biggest bang for your buck. Like, where can you actually invest and you're going to get a huge return on your investment in terms of your health, your physical and mental health, your overall vibrant well-being. So that is one that I do I've used with my clients, with myself, with my family, and even my sister, who's like, she goes on planes and she has anxiety attacks. So rather than taking medication, I got her a subscription to Newcom, and so she used the Newcom on the plane instead of her medication. So
That's
just really,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, this is great. And I had a client who she just had this really tight muscle that was really bothering her. She was going to the gym, she was trying to run, and she went to chiropractors, 2 massage therapists, physical
Wow.
therapy, and within 10 minutes, one massage session, pairing Newcom with maybe my 20 years experience. I don't know. Hopefully it was a combination of the two, but we released the tight muscle that was the vein of her existence within 15 minutes of the massage.
That's just, yeah. I suppose the biggest thing for me hearing all this is you don't necessarily need the tablets or the chemicals in certain situations. There might be an alternative that you can use, or at least give it a go before you then have to resort to that. I mean, it always depends, obviously, what you have. So you always have to listen to your doctor. And I guess they're not always substitutes, but it can't hurt to try them out if you can, and see if it helps. I mean, especially around anxiety and things like that.
Yeah.
That's huge,
Yeah.
considering the mental health thing that's going on at the moment in our world.
Yeah. Thinking about it from the total mind body perspective, there are ways that you can work with the physiology of your body. I think a lot of times when people say that, it sounds very daunting, like, ooh, that sounds like I'm not a physiologist, but it really is just understanding some very simple science-based concepts, and you can improve your life without those complicated solutions, without this trial and error process of, which protein powder or pill or vitamin is going to, make me feel the best kind of thing.
Mm.
And then, from a whole foods approach too, thinking food cells become you cells is my little mantra there. And, just thinking of that, what we put into our body is going to matter too. So these small little actions that we can take working with our body, not against it, and then treating our mind and body well with good food and some lifestyle movement to start small, and then some traditional exercise if you need to work your way up.
Yeah, sounds like simplicity is a big one for you, isn't it? It's
Yes.
a big
And that's
thing.
only because I don't think I would have ever been able to go from last on the running team to now, a fairly competitor runner mom, to, reversing these health diagnoses if I just didn't take a step back and say, it's got to be simple. And the reason why is because we actually have to do it. It has to be sustainable. And if it's not simple and realistic and enjoyable for our lives and some, a little bit of flexibility in there, it's not going to be sustainable. And I think that's where a lot of people get stuck.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sort of thinking back on my health thing and I'm like, ugh. Yeah, simplicity probably works best for everybody. I agree with you there. Makes it less daunting as well.
Yeah.
Because there's so
Yeah.
much stuff out there that you should be doing, could be doing, and
Yeah.
at the end of the day, you
Yeah. And
just stop and go, oh God, I'm just exhausted thinking about it.
yeah, health and fitness information can be really overwhelming, even for someone like myself who does know a lot of evidence-based information, has published research on, well-being and health and fitness. And that's why it really does help sometimes if you feel really overwhelmed to work with a professional, because they can cut through the noise for you and help you learn how to take those simple focused actions that are specific to you and your goals and your lifestyle. Because I do see one mistake I do see is a lot of people might see what worked for their friend, so they give it a try. They might read a book by somebody that they admire and think, ooh, maybe this strategy will work for me. And that can be a really difficult process to navigate and feeling really overwhelmed. So taking a step back to think before you buy something or you read a new book, what's my goal? And will this help me achieve it? Or am I just getting a little sidetracked because I read this article about how to lose 10 pounds really fast? And I'm like, ooh, maybe.
I mean, that's it. Just got me thinking about. I know there's all these fitness programs out now that involve some form of dancing, which is really cool because I love dancing, so I can already see myself that could work for me.
Yeah.
So it's really like you say, figure out what you love doing, what works for you, and if you obviously love music, is there anything that you can do that involves music? I mean, even I think back like the Wii console has like
Yes.
the
Yeah.
dance things. Just start with that.
Yeah.
It's fun. It can only be 5 minutes, and you can do it at home.
Yeah.
So
I used to do belly dancing. I took classes and I used to, and it was fun. And, it was movement. So I'm all for the music and movement and dancing.
yeah, I've just been a little bit educated around the whole belly dancing thing. It was interesting around what why belly dancing kind of exists and what the history is, and that it was there for women to, prepare basically their womb for being pregnant and what motherhood and all that kind of stuff. So it was really interesting to see that dancing actually is for well-being. Like belly dancing is for the female's well-being. And I thought, oh wow, I never knew that about belly dancing, for example. So
Yeah, I used to do it 2 days per week while pregnant. I just made it a part of my pregnancy preparation.
there you go.
Yeah, but I do have a disclaimer there. If you have any sort of like joint pain, or a lot of times there's this little joint in the back of the low back, the SI joint. I was having a problem, and many women in pregnancy do, where it's dislocating. Like you kind of pop your hip out of place, the joint becomes unstable because our ligaments become relaxed in pregnancy with the pregnancy hormones. So it's really easy to like pop it out of place. Well, you can belly dance and pop it out of place. So careful, listeners. Don't go too crazy with the belly dancing in pregnancy. Don't start it if you haven't done it previously.
Oh gosh, yeah. Well, that probably would be a good idea not to start it whilst you're growing the bump with your baby. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
that's a
imagine?
general fitness tip for any new mom or any newly pregnant person, is not to start brand new exercises. Just stick with what your body knows during
Yeah.
pregnancy.
There you go. Free advice, free tip for you.
Yes.
Maybe start the belly dancing slowly after you've had the baby, once your body got used to not being pregnant or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm sort of guessing here a little bit.
Definitely.
Now, I always ask the question at the sort of towards the end of a chat about if you'd have to pick a song that describes your life and or business, which one that will be. And I know I'm going to ask a question, but I already know you've already mentioned the song. So I don't know if you want to add anything to that, anything that you might have not said before about.
Yeah, I guess as someone who's had a lot of dark moments in my life, um, we always have a choice. Our reaction to those circumstances and recognizing that a light exists, it's going to be a journey to get there, but we will make it through those dark times. And any times in our life that we've previously overcome only serve as proof that we have a track record that's 100%. We get through the rough times. So we're going to get through this too, even if we can't see or feel like there is no hope. There always is. And the song in my life that I go back to over and over again, as I said, is that song by Hannah Kerr. I think it's called Warrior. And it's we have to dig deep and we have to find our warrior sometimes. And even when we have the crummiest of odds, crazy great things can still happen. And I know it's really hard when we're in the moment. So I do let the darkness come in. I do take time to feel the feels. It's one of my techniques. If you're in a rough spot, it is okay to not be okay. It's okay. Like, feel it, be in it. And, I say sometimes it's a month that you just need to feel like junk. And when I first got my diagnoses, I didn't want to listen to that song yet. No, I was not ready for it. I was 33 and I was told I had bone disease. And I was like, what? But I did. I said, okay, well, I'm going to take a month and I'm going to let myself feel this, feel all the feels. I'm going to own this space of ugly. And then in 1 month, I'm going to take one small action and start to do something about it. And I'm going to put on my song. And whatever I need to do, I'm going to remember that I'm a warrior. So throughout all the ups and downs, that is one song that I absolutely love.
Yeah, I recommend everyone go and check it out. I watched the one with the lyrics on it, so I could actually take it all in, and just the lyrics on their own are pretty powerful. Yeah. And then having her voice obviously on top of that makes it pretty special. So thank you for introducing me to your new song I've never heard before.
Yes, it's a little known. I think I actually heard it when my husband was deployed. He was away and he was at war, and I didn't talk to him, and I was worried about him because he was a combat aviator, and that song came on. So it actually had nothing to do with my health or fitness at the time. It was just reminding me that I was going to get through this phase regardless of what happened, because we always do.
Yeah. Well, could have gone for your husband too, because he obviously was a warrior getting through what he went through,
Yeah.
So that's a pretty good song that fits in many situations. So yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely check it out, guys.
On the opposite end of the spectrum, there's a song, Animal I Have Become. And it's like a rock song. And that's the one where if I feel like I'm in a rough spot, I might put it on. I'm like, oh, this is an ugly space. I'm an animal, but it helps me that one helps me like navigate the ugly space first. And then maybe I go to the warrior song after that.
It's, I always love hearing, when my guests sort of talk about their songs, and I know some have playlists and some have like 5 go-to songs, and it's like you just said, you have one for your ugly moments, one for your kind of, you want to be a warrior. And I just think that is so cool that we should all have 4 or 5 songs for a situation or phases we're in that we can just put on and either ugly cry until we have no tissues left or fist pump because we believe in us so 110% that you just want to scream it from the rooftops. So I think everyone should have at least those 2 songs.
Yes, ugly space and I'm a warrior.
Exactly. So there you go. And hopefully we've given hopefully we've given everybody some ideas what they can go and have a look at on Spotify or wherever else they go and get their music from.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I think we've got some really good, I always say golden nuggets, but they are golden nuggets to me, especially sort of around wellness and fitness and all that kind of thing. So thank you for sharing that with us. And I don't know if you have anything else to add that comes to mind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, people can find me. My website is breakingthroughwellness.com.
Mhm.
I have a blog there with everything from like health and fitness, nutrition, information, all about how can we take these simple science-based actions to feel vibrantly well, energized, healthy, and be a high performer, from everything in our parenting all the way through to work and our health and fitness. I also have a couple free trainings there that individuals can watch. And when you see the words high performance, do not sell yourself short. I am talking about everyday mom, dads, fitness goal getters, as well as those pros that I've worked with. And so, yeah, I do offer, free consultations for anyone who's interested in working with me. So know that I exist in the world and I'm here to answer questions. It's a privilege to be a health and wellness expert for others. So I love what I do, and I look forward to meeting individuals that want to improve their health and fitness.
Yes, and you don't have to be an NFL player to do that, as you just said.
No.
So I'm going to pop all your details in the episode descriptions. If anyone's interested, go and read it. All the links are there for you to connect with Louise if you are interested, and obviously book that consultation if it really speaks to you. Wow, that's it. Time has flown really quickly. I can't believe it. It's always so much fun.
Yes,
And
I love this idea of music and how it can, just help everyone to live their best life and feel energized, healthy, well. So thank you for your work in the world and inspiring us through music.
Oh, thank you for the lovely feedback. Appreciate it. Now, we're at the end of this episode. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Any details, as I said, are in the description. Otherwise, I'll talk to you in my next episode. Until then, take care, B-siders. And as I always say, keep on dancing and keep on rocking. Until next time. Bye.